I'm Eric, I'm KC8VWL, and I'm with Universal Radio, and today we wanted to show you Alinco's communications receiver. This is the DX-R8T. This is a very affordably priced tabletop communications receiver. It offers some very serious performance and a lot of bang for your buck. Frequency coverage is going to cover from 150 kilohertz through 30 megahertz, and that's continuous. It's definitely going to work very, very well as a standalone receiver. But one of the nicest features about this receiver is its IQ out and the ability to interface it with a computer and run it like a black box SDR radio. There's a lot of very nice capabilities that the receiver as a standalone isn't able to do that are enabled when you're driving it with a computer. And there's a lot more advanced features that you can use that really makes this a very interesting radio, especially at its price point. There's a nice good-sized, large tuning knob that's got some weight to it. It feels really good when you're tuning around. Wide and narrow filters that you can select for both AM, sideband, and CW. It's got a keypad in the upper corner so you can do direct frequency entry to go right to where you need to listen. Also, you've got fast and slow tuning steps you can change to, depending upon how fine you want to tune through and how fast you want to zip through a band. It's got a nice front-facing speaker that's got pretty good audio out of it. And you've got headphone jacks and speaker jacks on the front, so it's really easy to connect up and listen to. One of the nicer features of this radio that's rare is the fact that it has a removable faceplate and you can remote mount the head unit separate from the body. If you're tight on space, you can mount the radio in a different location or possibly even mobile mount it, putting the radio in the trunk of a car and just mounting the head unit up front. You can use basic network wire to remote mount and go between the head unit and the body of the radio. That's a feature in a communications receiver that I haven't seen on any other radios. So it definitely gives you some flexibility on saving some desk space or being able to mount it in a lot of different locations. The real capabilities of this radio and what starts getting impressive is when you have it hooked up to a computer. Alinco's got free software, KGSDR. That software is available for download on their website. And with that free software, you can pull the IQ out of the back of the radio, run it into a line-in jack on your computer, and with Alinco's ERW7 cable, you can completely control this radio from the computer. It really opens up a lot more capabilities than just using it as a standalone receiver. You've got much better audio filters to use, much more variable bandwidths for both your IF filters and your audio filters. You have the ability to look at a much larger view of your passband and your IF on a waterfall display. And you can tune by actually looking at activity on the waterfall display and select the different signals you want to monitor. And at this price point, it's a very impressive feature for somebody who's got the abilities to hook it up and run it with a computer. One thing I do want to mention is if you are going to use Alinco's ERW7 to control and drive the radio, be sure to install Alinco's drivers first before you hook up the cable. I did not the first time I went to go use this and spent a long time trying to fight the wrong drivers getting this going, and it works much better if you install the drivers first before you connect any cables to the radio. And just to mention the connections that are on the back, you've got your input for 13.8 volts DC. And I do want to mention that this radio does not come with its own power supply. It just comes with a fused DC pigtail. Just over from there is the 1/8-inch stereo headphone jack, which is what the IQ out will come out of to go into the line-in on your computer. There's also the cloning port, which is what the ERW7 USB cable will plug into. And there's also an audio and a mute jack that's on this that you've got on the back panel, along with your connection for an SO239 for your antenna connections. And please look at our webpage. It's at www.universal-radio.com and look at the Alinco DX-R8T, and you'll be able to see a full list of available accessories